Let's turn now to finding number four, which is a very interesting one. And there's lots of ways of saying this same thing, but and Dave, I think you've done a flavor of this four times already. I think I'm counting and taking notes. But let's just talk about it, which is the fact that, technology, not just AI in this case, but technology is leaving teams data rich but insights poor. That's kind of an interesting conversation. Very rarely do you hear people say, I just can't wait to get another source of data into my environment. What's not really what they're looking for. But when we ask people how advanced they were in solving problems with AI, kind of interestingly, 91% of them said they were either from moderately advanced all the way up to very advanced and using AI to solve production problems. And on the surface, that sounds really awesome, except here's the other side of that coin. The ability to quantify that impact is not very good yet. It's not very high yet. And we look at this, the most successful was in supply chain. Around 29% of people were able to respond and say they could prove value, they could quantify the impact of their AI activities in their organization. So a little bit of a paradox there. You would assume people who thought they were super advanced because they were finding value. But let's talk about that, and let's kind of use the opportunity for a moment to kind of get the audience to weigh in here as well when you ask the question. So, how do you feel you are? How do you feel your organization is doing in solving production problems using AI? Take a moment and weigh in there, and we'll take a look at the results. But as we do that, also keep in mind that we also know the horizon is a bit interesting about value, and time to value is often a topic about how fast you can go. And but regardless of how you view time to value, how you view the pace at which you need to prove value, how are you doing? So let's take a look now at that. And we've got the first few results in, wait a few more, but interestingly enough, quite a few people so far in the early responders say not very advanced at all. In fact, that number went up on the thing. So let's take a moment there. Give it just a second longer to respond. Interestingly enough, in the first set of responses, no one picked advanced or very advanced. I hope I didn't prejudice your answer with the commentary there. And this is what you really feel like. But interesting that a little bit different than the survey results, people on the thing have perhaps taken a very realistic look at their success with AI and solving that. So right now, if you look at the results, about 62% of the users are saying not at all as far as their advancement in AI. And the best case is moderately advanced with about 12.5%. So a little bit different than the results of the survey, but reflecting that people still believe they have a ways to go. So great. Thank you for participating again. So Dave, let's start with you on this one. So when you looked at this finding, both maybe compare the two, the live results and the survey results, what did you find interesting here, and what does it mean in a practical sense about how organizations should be thinking about their technology adoption programs?
Okay, again, a little bit about, it links to the previous points that you and Brian made, is that we need to start, falling in love with the problem and not falling in love with the solutions. It's about being totally focused on them. I would also say in this whole area of digital and AI, it is not something you do, right? It is something you become. And I think we need to do that. It's an inherent skill in all of it. It's not a project that you do. And, I've said in previous conversations with other people, this whole area of fully operational technology in this space, I don't think we'll ever get there. This is going to be perpetually developmental, a bit like the iOS software on your phone. It's going to constantly learn and constantly evolve. I think, because it's something that you become and not something to do, as soon as we start asking for return on investments with these things, we're going to start treating them like the old stuff that we did, and we're heading into trouble then. We know that in a standard supply chain model, planning and scheduling and demand planning is absolutely essential. Did we ever ask for a return on investment in that? Or really, if you make it more personal, if anyone's had any surgery, if we ever ask the surgeon for a business case on how he's, justifying what he's going to do, it's an essential thing. It's a support function, and it's a foundation skill. It's also not something you do to replace your current performance programs. So, I've seen a lot of antagonistic relationships between TPMs and digital, or Lean Six Sigma and digital. This is about enhancing. It's augmenting, amplifying, and accelerating what you're already doing. So it's not competing with your current programs; it's boosting them. And in the end, in manufacturing, the fixing of a broken part is not going to change no matter how it breaks. Yeah, it's still going to need fixing. So the clever part is stopping it from breaking in the first place, because problem avoidance beats problem solving every day of the week on the shop floor. And I think we need to see it like that. And again, I said it before, focusing on the similarities and what complements before getting hung up on the differences. Same point goes with return on investment discussions for me. I think maybe we need to start to learn to ask different questions, because if we want different answers, we can't be asking the same old questions, yeah? So, rather than ask what the return on investment is, ask it more open and say, what would the bottom line look like if our performance improvement roadmap was delivered at twice the speed or 4 times the speed, yeah? Or how much capital and hence depreciation could we avoid if we released 20% more capacity in the next 12 months? Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, that's a great point.
It's a different way of thinking about it. And there may be a little bit of organizational silo psychology in here as well, but coming together and asking different questions and doing it together and becoming digital rather than doing digital is what I would say.
Excellent. Thank you for that. So, Indra, we like your insights here. What does it mean to you? What does it mean to you that people, at least from the survey results, a lot of results were a bit different, but survey results, people feel like they're becoming very advanced in the use case of AI, but aren't recognizing value. What does that mean? What do you see from the research you're doing?
Yeah, James, I was quite surprised to see that as well, that most feel they're very advanced. And I think be it AI or, digital transformation or adoption of any advanced technology, different end users are at different stage. Some are just beginning their journey, some at very advanced stage, but we don't have a common benchmark in the industry. So I think what most people do is that they are comparing where they are now, where they were 2 years or 3 years ago, and that's how they feel they are more advanced. So that's what I was thinking when I saw these results. And when it comes to ROI, I think it's very, very tough. Even when I talk to, maintenance folks, and they always tell me it's their major challenge to prove how any asset management strategy or initiative, what kind of benefits in terms of, dollar value, what is the benefit of that? If your operations are more safe, if you're reducing unplanned downtime, how do you put that in dollar value? So that's always a challenge, and it remains a challenge with AI as well. So a lot of times end users, what they try to do is that they compare, what kind of cost savings they have and compare it to, 1 or 2 years before and what kind of cost they had at that time. So these kind of comparisons we see when it comes to ROI. But when we talk to end users, we always promote the long-term vision and not just think about, short-term savings, have a long-term vision.